One, two, three. And we are live. Hey, y'all, welcome back to Black Book Fair. Today, we are joined by the abominable, the inspirational, the motivational Renee Taylor. Renee.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
I brought that energy because we are going to talk about a subject that I think impacts all of us, especially now in COVID. And that is, how do we deal with grief and heal? Our great guest is an author of an excellent book, 7 Steps to Healing from the Loss of a Parent. But I think that the book also is applicable to any loss. I've lost several people who were good friends of mine, and I don't know that I really grieved. I was just telling my last interview that I quit my radio show. This was the last Friday, was my first Friday. This coming Friday will be the first Friday. I haven't been on the air in 2 years. So I actually have time now. And I can possibly, I don't know, devote some time to healing from the folks that I know that left this planet unexpectedly in the last 2 months. So I'm looking forward to diving into this conversation and find out what steps I can take personally to heal.
Amen to healing. Healing's always good, right?
Yes. So what inspired you to write the book?
Well, yes. I mean, just what it sounds like, from the loss of parents. In 2011, I lost my father. My father was battling cancer, and he knew before he actually shared it with us. So by the time he shared it with us, he was already in an advanced stage of cancer where they had to go in and with radiation, they had to go in with chemo, and he just kind of settled in and accepted his fate. I do believe that, like a lot of people, they last a lot longer. They live way far beyond the span that, the doctors give you. However, it just wasn't enough time for me, right? We always think we have enough time. And I know he was looking for a daddy-daughter day, and we were actually rebuilding our relationship, because we had a complex relationship somewhere around the teenage, college years. And I kept saying, yeah, okay, Dad, I'll get to it, because I was just so busy. I was someone that just had my calendar all filled up. I didn't want anything, any space or any gaps in my schedule. And I just thought I would have time. And before we knew it, he was gone. I remember my brother used to come up every June for a church event to speak, and the whole family would come. His kids would come, his wife would come, and my mom would be there, my grandma, everybody, and we were celebrating. And thank God he came that week, and he preached, and I sang. My dad had a chance to see us perform for the last time. We took a picture together with the grandkids, with grandma, mom, dad, everybody. And we didn't know the following weekend that he would be gone. So we didn't realize how important that time was. And so for me, I had never experienced a loss such as this one. That was just so close to home, that really was so much of a defining moment for me in my life, that I chose to write and escape. And that's how I had to cope. And therein lies birthed the letters to my father, which I then, years later, obviously nearly a decade later, I then reformatted into a guide to help others navigate the space of grief and loss.
So let's jump right into that. I know that the social psychology talks about the different stages of grief. The stage of denial, which I think I'm in denial right now. What would you say is some of the things that you did to address, your loss and to accept?
Okay. Well, I think it's really key that you spoke about accept, right? Acceptance. It's like a buzzword. You also use the word denial. And I don't even know that I even had the luxury of denying it, because I tell you, as we mentioned on another live, the day after, I am now at the home where, in the space where my dad would lay his head. I'm now with his mother, my paternal grandmother.
Mm.
And not only is she am I mourning the loss of father, she's now mourning the loss of a second son. So anyone who knows, a parent who's now losing a child, that's another dimension of grief. So her way of dealing with it was, get all this stuff out of here, clean it all out. I even talk about it in the chapter in the book. Wipe it all out. I wanted to go, 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 go. Whereas I wanted to latch on to him. I wanted to hold on to the memory. I wanted to hold on to what he could have been. I wanted to hold on, and I have a hard time letting go in general in life. So I wanted to hold on to every ounce that I could, because I didn't seize the moment and take the time that I had with him, right? So I never denied that he was gone, but I just wanted him to live on in my life, in my heart, in some way, on my daily practices. And so I immediately had to acknowledge it. I was forced to acknowledge it. And that's where the writing came in, and that is the first stage and step in my book. Acknowledge your pain. And I think that's got to be the first step. There's no way around it, and it's okay if it takes you a little longer to get to that point, because, like you said, some people deal with denial. Some people are like, "Oh, I have to, I can't deal with this right now," and you have to, only when it's time, right? So don't allow anyone to push you into that space or force you into feeling something that is not authentic for where you are. But
Yes.
at some point, in order to start the healing, you have to acknowledge it. And that's how I started writing. I started writing. Still to this day, I'm so blessed and grateful to have a voicemail message from him. And it's a beautiful message. What he's saying to me is like everything that I needed to hear in that moment. And who knew? I mean, I don't even think my dad called me often on my cell phone, right? I got my first cell phone when I went to college, and I'm like, and I wasn't far. I was right at Rutgers in New Brunswick, right in New Jersey. So it was just, it was like God speaking to me through this phone and giving me this piece that I can hang on to forever. I can hang on to his voice. I can hang on to him calling me love buggy. I can hang on to him, saying daddy loves you, things that he would always say. And that helped me. That helped me through that stage until I was ready to go on to the next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. How do you deal with the this will be my last how do you, but how do you deal with the anger you feel, the unfairness of it all, and I guess it's sort of like the chapter you have about addressing unfinished business, but I'm more angry, I guess, about that this man died. In my case, my friend died alone on his floor of his apartment, and that the media put that out. So I'm
as if it's
mad
not painful enough, right?
how
They
he
got to
died, and
replay
then
it.
yeah.
Yeah. You're right. My mentor, and again, my deepest condolences. I remember you mentioned that before in
Yeah,
our life.
thank you.
A mentor of mine died that way as well, and it's just crazy, right? The image that you can't get out of your head. The unfinished business. It's one of those things you just don't know what's going to happen, or what it's going to feel like until you're there. And
Right.
so it wasn't until I lost him that I realized that there was unfinished business. I realized the truth about a lot of lies that, maybe the family, not lies, but maybe things that they wanted to conceal, or protect me from. I learned a lot of truths about the relationship between my mother and my father,
Right.
and then it also became unfinished business that I'm still working through with my mother, right? So that's another thing, like, acknowledging the parent that's still here and what that relationship
Yep.
looks like now. And so it wasn't until, when I dealt with anger, I don't even know that I even knew what it was called. I don't even know that I could put a name on it. And I talk about that a lot in the book, that sometimes you can't name it. You just know what it feels like. So that's why writing is so important for me, because a lot of times I'm writing out what my body feels like. What am I experiencing? Right?
Mm.
Even if I can't name it.
Mm.
And sometimes it comes out in like a scream, or I even have like a subtitle, breathe, a subchapter called breathe. So you just don't know what that is. But it's funny, when I experienced really, really extreme anger, it was just recently. I experienced extreme anger for the grief that my mother's experiencing right now, having lost her husband of 18 years, dealing with mental health and the decline, um, of his health during the pandemic, and them being senior citizens and feeling, secluded and isolated and locked away in their apartments, because their apartment building did extreme shutdowns, of course, for the
Oh.
safety of their residents. But it was too much for them, right?
Right,
And
right.
I remember being so angry at God, so angry, like, how in the world could you put another layer on a person that's dealing with so much already?
Already, right.
Yes. And when I tell you the way that I experienced that, it was bad. It was bad for me, because I could not sleep. I felt like, there were 100 pounds of weight on my chest on a daily basis. I lived in extreme anxiety of, like, oh my gosh, am I having a heart attack? Like, is something going to
Mm.
happen to me? Like, it was almost as if I felt like like I was dealing with the loss. Not that he was my husband or that he was my father, but that, like, I felt like there was something dead in me, and I was so angry. And it was terrifying to not sleep, to not really eat, or maybe overeat, to not even shower, to to not even want to do the things that I love to do. Like, I love to talk, I love to go out, I love to get with my friends, I love to laugh, right? When I
Mhm.
laugh from my belly, like, I mean that thing. I love to smile. Like, everything that I love to do, it didn't even bring me relief. It didn't even bring me comfort in that time. So that's what my anger felt like. So if that's how you feel, go on and feel that. You don't make any apologies for it. You don't explain anything to anybody. You don't rush through that feeling. You work through it. And the way that I feel is the most important is to purge. And that purging can be anything for you.
Right.
For me, it was the writing. And for a long time, it was the music, right? I would sing. I mean, I would put on my best, like, R&B, old school, or gospel, and sing to the top of my lungs and sing from my soul. I would literally be drowning in my own tears, but I got
Woo.
it out of my body. You feel me? So
Yes.
it's like you just have to get it out, because if you hold that in, oh no, it'll destroy you. It'll destroy you, or you will destruct something else. And we do that far too often in our lives, in our society. I actually put a quote, at the beginning of that chapter, about acknowledging your pain. Pain is pain. It's what you do with it that matters, and it's what you do with it, or how you deal with it, that matters. I remember Oprah said it when she was speaking to all the people, that were in prison with life sentences, double sentences, right? And she spoke to these people, and she says, there are some people sitting in jail because of pain. There are some people that committed suicide because of pain. There are some people like myself that wrote a book because of pain. There are some people that are refuse to go on living, and maybe they're stagnant and they're stuck because of pain. It's just how you deal with it to
Right.
get past it, because there's no way around it. You have to go through.
Got it.
Yeah, I felt
Tell us
that.
about tell us about some of your journey as an author. What has been some of the feedback, and also, I'm sure there'll be people watching this and say, "Wow, you wrote a book about your pain. I have pain too. I'd like to write a book about that." So, one about your journey and what you feedback you've gotten as an author, and then two, well, I'll wait. I'll take that.
Okay. So yeah, so first, the journey. The journey looks like, when we talk about journey, right, we think about success, right, and how you define that. Because every journey is going to be different. Every way that we define the success is going to be different. So it's going to show up in your daily practices. So what is your daily practice? I think Whoopi Goldberg said to Lauryn Hill in Sister Act, like, you want to be a writer, honey? You wake up and you can't think about nothing else but writing. You a writer, girl. Okay. It's funny. I live my life in movies. Okay. So shout out to cinema, but in film, but it's so true. If this is what you are, if this is who you are, if you've got a story to tell, if you've got something to get off your chest, then do that. Make sure that you do that, and you commit to that. You commit to that
Right.
daily, so that it can be a part of you. Everything that I've written, all the books that I've been featured in, they've been passages from journals, from diaries, things that I've said, people that know, things that I've said that people are that I'm known for, feelings, you know, my goals, my visions and dreams, they all are put and cataloged in these books that I can share with the world. So think about what your daily practice is and how you can show up for yourself every day doing what it is that you love or what you're passionate about and what you're good at. Some people are good at writing, so they start blogging. Some people are great at taking pictures, and so maybe they want to dabble in photography, or maybe they're really great on social media. Maybe they want to be a social media strategist or a social media creator or
Yeah.
content creator, right? So it could be small, it can be big, it can be whatever you want it to be, right? So it shows up in your daily practice. In terms of the second question, remind me again what the second question was.
I didn't get to it yet. I was going to ask
Okay.
you about as an author, or as a person that has taken their pain and written about it and gone as far as publishing a book about it. What advice would you give somebody else who feels that they have a painful story and they would like to see it in work, whether it's a book or a play, or they even maybe want to do some type of short documentary or short film about it?
Yeah.
What would be the first step besides writing out? Is
Yeah.
the first step, or maybe it is the first step, is it creating an outline, a guide, and then looking for resources or
That part. Definitely reaching out. Okay. Once you reflect and do the internal work, right? You do the work within, you do your personal work. Now you can reach out. Now you can be intentional about connections that you're making. We have social media, we have technology at our fingertips, right? So now you can research the people that you like, the people that you follow, the people that your influencers, right? I don't want to say idols, but people that you aspire to be like or that you look up to as role
right,
models.
right.
Research those people. I want you now to go online and start following them. I want you to see what it is that they do on their day to day. I can tell you right now, a lot of the influencers and people that have come into my life in the past 2 years that I'm so utterly grateful for. You, one of them. Shout out to Carl
Oh,
Michelle,
thank you.
aka Young Executive. People like him. I asked him when I interviewed him, "What do you do on a day to day? What do you do when you wake up?" You want to know, what does that person do, right? What does the successful person do? What is their mindset? What are they reading? Um, do they make up their bed? What do they eat? Right? It's and these sound trivial, but I'm
That's
telling you,
funny.
these are things that are important because you want to find, a person that you can say, oh, they model your idea of success, right? They model maybe a good writer or a good influencer, whatever your space or industry is. I want you to reach out to those people, find those people, follow those people, learn those people, and really connect. I know for me, I love to talk. I'm very opinionated, so on social media, I'm constantly engaging. I engage with every single person that likes and comments on my posts. I will respond with something when
How do
there's
you find time to do that?
Huh? Yes, you do have to find time, or you can just pay an intern. You can have an intern, or you can
Okay.
pay somebody to do it, right? But there's definitely ways. Or you can just dedicate. Sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going to dedicate this hour today, or I'm going to dedicate a certain amount of time every week to do it, and then it's done, right? And you don't
Yeah.
have to do it anymore, right? You can do it all in one sitting. So that's important. But even the people that I like, I start following them. I start commenting on their things. And I see a lot of influencers and celebrities, they'll like my comments, they'll even respond. And who knows? It
Hmm.
may be the person that they hired to do that. But listen, I got them some visibility. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
Somebody was like, well, who is this person? And now they're going to my page to see who I am. And now they're clicking on my link tree. You know what I mean?
right,
And,
right.
so it's really the connectivity that happens. And we don't even realize how, like, we're all connected. Like, I'll meet somebody and I'm like, oh my gosh, such and such and know such and such. Like, that's how I met Young Executive. I was doing media for Circle of Sisters with his co-host of the Youth Empowerment Show. Right? And I said, oh, I need my book in his hands. I need to be introduced to him. She said, oh, well, follow the page and we'll see what's going on. I kept following the page. I stayed connected. He was doing a webinar. I went to it. Then we talked afterwards and I said, hey, this is what I've been trying to find you for the past year. And boom, there you have it. And that was just off the strength of like me going somewhere, showing up as my authentic self, me connecting with another young sister that was doing it big in media. Come to find out her boyfriend is real heavy in the acting and film space out here in the tri-state area. We run in the same circles. So it's like, it's crazy. And I had to go to the Circle of Sisters to meet her, right? I didn't meet her out my front door. So, the power of resources, it's at your fingertips. So I hope that answers your second question.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And then, one of my favorite go-to questions for authors is something that I think that the non-author doesn't think about as much as the author thinks about. But I think today, because we're so locked down, that I think people think about it more often, and you have a chapter in this book about it. What do you do, or let me rephrase that, is self-care part of the way you deal with writer's block?
Yes. And I'm telling you, self-care is a journey. Okay. That's a process. It's still a journey that I'm on. Some days I'm better than others, right? But self-care sometimes doesn't always look like, oh, I'm pampering myself. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to have a spa day. I'm getting a massage. Sometimes self-care just means I'm giving myself the space and the grace. Right. And it's so funny because I know you said it the opposite way. And it's funny. I always say that. You said give space, give grace. And I say give myself the grace to feel what I'm going to feel and give myself space to feel it. So I think I mentioned in another interview that I did that after my dad passed, I did not perform or do anything that really required me to get on stage and be of service to the world and be vulnerable for well over a year and a half. So that means that I gave myself grace and space to take a break, to say, nope, nada. I can't show up today. I can't be accessible to you today. Sorry. I don't even have the words. I don't even have the energy. I don't even know who I am. I just need to pause and go inside and go within. And that's what it looks like. That's what self-care looks like. And I did have writer's block for a long time. I had started my autobiography in 2008. So the first book I did, Breakthrough, the piece of the chapter that I did in Breakthrough, it really comes from my autobiography. It was just a matter of okay, so what part of my life do I want to share? What characters in my life, in my family, did I want to share to really illustrate, okay, who is Vernee? So that, as I'm going on this author journey, people can walk with me. They can go with me. But think about it. 2008 is when I started that autobiography, when I was working in the front office of an architectural design company, right? And I was bored in the office. And 2019 is when I was presented with the opportunity to release Breakthrough with Johnny Wimbrey, Les Brown, Nick Halleck, and other authors. So look at the gap there, right? At some point, I stopped writing. I stopped writing that story. I might have done other things. And again, when you're an artist, right? Or, they say when in a case like this, and when certain circumstances, I know I'm going to get the quote wrong, the creators create.
Right.
Because my body's an instrument, I showed up in different ways. I started singing. There's other things, that you do depending where you are. And then I started singing for me because I was no longer a part of that contract. I was no longer working on my album. I had to take a break there, and I had to kind of rediscover myself when it came to my artistry. So, do what you have to do and make no apologies for it.
Yeah.
Simply put.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Put. Yeah.
One of my good friends, his father was one of the first people to die in Philadelphia to COVID. And so today is his anniversary. While we're talking, I'm scrolling through Facebook to post the video, repost the video, and when you were talking, I was like, wow. And here's a beautiful picture of him and his dad,
I love
smiling, look
that.
like twins.
I love
Yeah,
that.
and so, but it's an I quit the radio show. He's the producer of the show. So
Okay.
it's interesting, just in general,
Was it
being able.
too hard? Is that why you quit? Because it was too hard to be there without this person? Is that why you
No,
took
no,
a
it's just I guess a full circle coming around scenario,
okay.
because I have the ability to quit without any repercussions. Unfortunately, he has to. That's his job. Like, he has to
Right.
produce. But I know that he's in pain. I know I think he's taking a day. I think our show is on hiatus until May, but I'm not coming
Okay.
back.
Okay.
And
Well, that's not
so,
too far off. May is right around the corner.
yeah, no, that's a show. I'm not coming back, but he's able
Oh,
to take off because our show's on hiatus, and we're the
okay.
only show he produces on Friday. So he's able to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So I'm like breathing, like, that's good. He's able to, while this anniversary happened, at
Mm,
least he can take off this weekend.
right.
Um, but I was gonna just say, like, I was so angry for him,
Yeah.
um, because at that time people weren't wearing masks, and they just like, whatever happens,
Oh
happens.
gosh. Yeah.
So it's like,
Mhm.
it's a year. It's been a year, and
Yeah.
so anyway, I was just thinking what you were saying. I was like, yeah, that's that space, that giving yourself that space, and the giving yourself that ability to grieve, but also to just to be.
Yes, and let me just say this, and I love that you brought up, and my deepest condolences again. I mean, there's so many people we're losing. Like, I know every day we get
Yeah,
another call, right? So
yeah,
it's no longer foreign to any of us, right? I know a lot of people said, "Oh, wow, I didn't really take it seriously until I got it, or until someone close to me
right,
got it," and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, right? Because these numbers are real, and people, the pain that people are feeling is real. I have friends that work in the hospital space, so and I know what they experience, and I'm praying for them daily. But I like that you brought that up, because another thing that I do want to point out, that sometimes the grieving and sometimes the space and grace doesn't come in silence. Sometimes it doesn't come in taking a break. There are people like myself that are super ambitious, right, that want to continue moving, right? So there are some people, grieving might look like, I need to keep moving, I can't stop right now,
right,
I
right,
need to
exactly.
pour myself into my work. I need to pour myself into what I'm passionate about. Maybe I need to pour myself into a foundation that I've created in that person's name. I know I always speak about this. I always
Good
speak
point.
about my brother. Shout out to my brother, ZF Taylor of Columbus, Ohio. I always talk about the way that we show up in the world. We always, at every from a young age, we always showed up in the world to be like big dreamers and super ambitious and kind of overzealous because we wanted to overcompensate for what our parents could not do, what our parents were not able to experience, what our parents might have missed. And even now, all the more, because my dad was only 57, there was so much that he didn't even
Yeah.
like scratch the surface of, right? So my brother was so intentional about having kids. Want to know why? Because that's a legacy for him, right? He's so intentional about carrying on the Taylor name, and and he's so intentional about making sure that there are certain things that represent our father and our lineage and our blood. He named his second son Alexander, and he's spitting image, and I talk about him in the book. I just like, I blush every time I talk about him, I think about him. And we call him Little Al, but he is literally spitting image. His mannerisms are like my father. And it's like, and I just look at God like, really? Like, it's just, it's like, it's times like that where you just like, thank you, God. Like, God is smiling on me. Like, he hasn't forgotten us, even when we're
Right.
grieving and when we're hurting, because now I can look at this kid and I'm like, oh my God, that's my dad. And I love it. Like, I love it. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yep. I know exactly what you're saying.
so it's the little moments, like you said. It's the moments when you saw that picture of your friend and his dad, and I know what it was like for me seeing Even now, when I see fathers with their daughters, oh my gosh. Like I used to cry. I used to be bawling my eyes out. Now I smile because I'm like, oh my God, what a gift they don't even know they have to have their father in their life, for their father to be active with them, to their father to take them to the park, to have these wonder years, you know, even if they don't grow old together, right? Just to have those memories to hang on to, like,
Yeah,
makes me smile.
I
Yeah.
agree 100%.
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody how they can get in touch with you and how they can buy the book?
Yes, yes.
Nice, beautiful.
And the crowd goes wild. Um, you can actually go right to my direct website, Vernay Taylor. That's, well, just as you see on the screen, you just put those names together, my first and last name together.com. And I'm Vernay Taylor across all social media platforms. If you go there to my homepage, you'll see book releases or books by Vernay. They're all listed there, because, you can always support and show up in different ways. And Letters to My Father, 7 Steps to Healing from the Loss of Parent, that may not be what you're going through right now, right? That may not be your journey. It may be for someone else. So
Right,
I always encourage people to buy more than one so that you can gift this to someone else, because sometimes people don't know what they need until
right.
they need it, right? I didn't know what I had until it was gone. And so VernayTaylor.com. You can click on there on the drop down and you can see all the other works that I've done, as there might be something else that would be really important for your journey or for your success or for your industry. And connect with me. Connect with me online. I
Yep.
will be doing a clubhouse tonight.
Oh,
It is the Boss Lady Tip Tuesdays for our group. Stop building someone else's empire. Tomorrow will be our masterclass, how to think like, walk like, talk like a boss. So connect with me, those that are looking for mentorship, accountability, looking to find their voice and to find their purpose. Reach out to me and see how we can work together, we can collaborate, or how I can support you through your
yes.
journey so that you can dare to live life on purpose.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sister Taylor. We really,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you.
It tickles me, Sister Taylor. It just tickles me. I love it, right? It makes me feel like so seasoned, like I've been around. But I'm
Yeah,
still young. I'm
you
still a
have.
young
You
lady.
are. Yes, you are, because you said your father was 57. I turned 50 this year. So I was like, what?
I know when you said that to me on the
I was
phone,
like,
I was
what?
like, I said, wait, what? I'm like, oh my God, you're my elder.
Pretty much.
But yeah,
Young
it's
lady.
beautiful. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful the way that we all can connect, and age
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's really how we meet with the minds. I'm 38, so it's like, there's wisdom
You
that you can
like
impart on
27.
me. What'd you say? I look what?
27.
Thank you. Say that again. But thank you. But no, but yeah, my body knows I'm 38. But yeah, it's nice because I can impart wisdom and things that upon to you, and you can impart wisdom onto me, because and these young people, they're teaching us now. So it's beautiful how we all can connect, and it doesn't even matter what age we are or what our background is.
We just got a comment from LinkedIn. Dana
Hi.
says she loved that. So
Thank
thank you,
you.
Dana.
Thank you for stopping by and commenting. Appreciate you.
That's what's up. All right. Well, we're gonna catch you slightly in Clubhouse. I might
Yeah,
slide through there and just sit here,
slightly. Yeah, catch
just
me on the flip
be
side.
in the audience. Make sure I
Okay.
show up so my followers can come into
Okay.
the room. So,
Okay.
what
Well,
time is your
it's been an
Clubhouse?
honor.
What time is your Clubhouse?
Oh, 6:30.
6:30 Eastern
6:30
Standard.
Eastern time. Yes, for those
Okay,
that are watching. Yes, we've got international here. But yes, Eastern
pretty
time.
much.
I'm a Jersey girl.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you,
Thank
Renee.
you. Have a good day.